engine's down and he's not even rotating his gun turrets. This guy is AFK. I don't know what happened, but he's definitely not at the keyboard. That's a matter for another time, however, because here comes that cross drop that we were worried about. Torpedoes from both sides from the enemy carrier. Now this thing does not turn very well, but you can help yourself by not going at full speed. And that will help you turn inside and avoid the torpedoes, but if you lose speed, that makes you a very long and inviting target for that Iron Duke over there. I'm not entirely sure at this point whether or not Jedi has decided that that core bay is or isn't AFK, because he's still focusing fire on it, hoping probably to set it on fire. You can see him spreading his shots around the superstructure. The Iron Duke's not shooting that. Oh wait, yes he is. Here it comes, here it comes. Yeah, that was a lot of damage. You see, British battleships, you see what you can do when you're not firing high explosive? Well, there's the additional fire on the core bay that he wanted. And he's probably safe from fire from the Iron Duke for the immediate future. Especially given that the Iron Duke is actually doing something quite smart. Assuming that this guy is AFK, and he almost certainly is at this point, what that actually means is that the... Oh, hang on, there's some fire coming in from the Iron Duke again. Oh, that was bloody close. But yes, Jedi's team have 4 ships remaining. The enemy team have 5 ships remaining, but one of them is 100% AFK. So the Iron Duke, rather than trying to battle it out down here against superior enemy numbers, is keeping up the fire at Jedi whenever he can, and is instead retiring and heading off to the north, where his team holds the numbers advantage. So that's actually a very, very smart move from the Iron Duke. And I realise that there are going to be people in the comments saying, well, yeah, it seems rather obvious. But just because it's obvious, that doesn't mean that you can expect people to automatically do it when you're playing World of Warships or any kind of online multiplayer game for that matter. So the fact that the Iron Duke player is actually using a bit of common sense and acting accordingly speaks very well for his potential as a high-tier battleship player. Unfortunately, it's at that precise point when the enemy Mitsuki sinks the friendly Koenig up by Capture Point Alpha, just as the friendly carrier was attempting to defend him from an airdropped torpedo attack. So that means that the enemy team now possess an actual numbers advantage rather than just a technical numbers advantage. And Jedi is the only player on his team who's still down in the southern end of the map. So he is going to have to sink that core bay and then do what the Iron Duke did and get up north to support the rest of his team, who are currently fighting against superior enemy numbers. Luckily, the core bay is 100% AFK, and so all he has to do is get within 4.5 kilometers and torpedo the shit out of it. So a nice little bit of damage farming going on here. Of course, while he's within 4.5 kilometers and torpedoing this guy, he is spotted by him. And it also wouldn't do to get within range of his secondary gun batteries, because AFK or not, those are still going to work. Sure enough, the enemy Orion, taking advantage of the fact that Jedi has been spotted by the AFK battleship to attempt to secure a potentially game-winning kill. But 2 can play at that game, Sunshine. Jedi has set him on fire. The core bay has been sunk. Kill number 4, high caliber. Orion on fire. Orion sunk. Kraken unleashed and double strike, which would be great news. Well, it is great news, but it would be even better news if they hadn't just lost their Wyoming at exactly the same time to the enemy Mitsuki, who's lurking around there up by Alpha, just picking ships off one at a time. He's now on his 3rd kill. So it's just Jedi with 3,000 health remaining, and the friendly carrier, Tier 5 USS Bogue, who it has to be said has proven to be a very, very valuable teammate up until now, against a Mitsuki on 3 kills, an enemy Tier 5 Zuiho aircraft carrier, and an Iron Duke up there. So what advantages do they have? What disadvantages do they have right now? Unfortunately, all of the advantages that they have, the fact that they have aircraft that can spot targets and that they have ships that are hard to spot, the destroyers, the enemy team also kind of have. And they have a battleship as well. And 2 of the captains. Well, there's something that Jedi can do about those last two problems. The fact that the enemy team have a battleship and the fact that they have two of the cap circles. He's just entered Bravo, so the enemy team no longer have points coming in from that. And with the Iron Duke on the other side of that island, he should be able to fire without being spotted. Assuming, of course, that there's nobody else with a direct line of sight within 9.2 kilometers. And that tells you something. That tells you that neither the Mutsuki nor the Zuiho are within 9.2 kilometers, because he's able to fire over that island and hit the Iron Duke without being spotted. And then he does get spotted. And straight away he's thinking, there's the Mutsuki. But, plot twist, it's not actually the Mutsuki. It's the Zuiho. Now, what I know, but what Jedi didn't know at the time, is that that Zuiho has been deplaned. This bow shot down 27 of his aircraft by himself. Oh, and there's the Mutsuki. Okay, that's not good. He should be safe from getting shot at by the Iron Duke. But there are probably going to be torpedoes ahead. And now he's lost sight of the Mutsuki, and he's still spotted by the Zuiho. And as anticipated, there are the Mutsuki's torpedoes, and then Jedi catches a lucky break because the Mutsuki screws the pooch. He was away, he was unspotted, there were no enemy aircraft nearby, and he fired his guns. If you're in a Mutsuki on the same amount of health as an Okhotnik, you don't want to be getting into a gunfight with that Okhotnik. And the Mutsuki realises his error, and he does stop firing as the enemy carrier vectors aircraft overhead to spot him, but it's just a little bit too late because Jedi's final salvo finished him anyway, and the carrier has managed to sink that pesky Iron Duke, which just leaves this Zuiho with no aircraft. So he's relying entirely upon his secondary gun batteries, and he's in torpedo range of an Okhotnik, which has 12 torpedoes that it can put into the water from either side of the ship at any time. And so naturally, Jedi misses. There's the Confederate award. Luckily, he's got 7 of these guns, firing high explosive at the moment, but there's enough of a broadside opportunity now that he can actually start getting potentially some citadels here, although he is now within range of the Zuiho's secondary gun batteries. There are the citadels at long last, as advertised, with these 130mm Russian rifles. And it is, of course, completely inevitable at this point that despite that shocking torpedo launch, that's his 7th kill, and he's won the match. Pointy head Jedi, noobing his way to victory, one botched torpedo launch at a time. And that's why I love him. He reminds me so much of me. Ably assisted, of course.